Good evening, sisters. It's still midsummer, just about, and today I celebrated midsummer in the liturgical year in church, in a Catholic church, and I just wanted to share with you my experience of what still remains in Christianity and the other great religions of essential psycho-spiritual truth. It's easy to dismiss the existing religions as being hypocritical and purely power-based institutions, which they are also, but there's deep truth still embedded there in the liturgy that's ancient, very ancient, thousands and thousands of years old, 6,000, 8,000 years old, and it was taken from the ancient Egyptians and the pagan religion, of course, and transformed into a style that was suitable for the era, the most recent 2,000-year period of where Christianity has been the predominant religion in the West. Anyway, so it's the 24th of June. It's a few days after the solstice, and in the Catholic liturgical year, this is the day of John the Baptist. So that's the official reason why today is celebrated. But of course it's a marker of what's happening in the solar year. We're exactly 6 months away from Christmas, the birth of Christ in the Christian year. But this is rooted in a deeply organic understanding of the movement of our planet through the cosmos and around the sun. And the forms, the outer forms that we give to it and call them religion, are just really scaffolding paradigms for some sort of deep truth that we feel in our bodies and souls, and then give words and images to. But anyway, on the feast of John the Baptist, Elizabeth, his mother, was giving birth. This is why we celebrate it. It's the birthday of John the Baptist today. She was giving birth and she called for Mary, who was pregnant with the person who was to become Jesus. So she called to Mary to assist her during the birth. And Mary came. Mary was already 6 months pregnant. And when she entered the house of Elizabeth, the child in Mary's womb stirred, kicked and moved and showed its joy at being in the presence of the future Christ child, the child that was in Elizabeth's womb. Sorry, I don't know if I got the names wrong there. But John the Baptist recognized that he was in the presence of Christ. So I thought that was a really interesting story associated with midsummer. We've got these two women at the centre of the feast of John the Baptist, and midsummer and pregnancy and birth, and that it is exactly 6 months until the birth of this other child that's involved in this story, this myth, which is Christmas, when Christ is born. And what John the Baptist says in the Bible is that I must get smaller so that he may get bigger. And of course this refers to the fact that he must be born so that Christ can grow and be born after him, can continue to grow in the womb. But it also refers to the solar year. So if we look at what the sun is doing, you know, the sun is from today, or a couple of days ago, the sun is getting smaller so that something else may be born at Christmas and something else may then get bigger. The days may get longer again. So now the days are getting shorter, and at Christmas, from Christmas, the days will be getting longer again. So this essential cyclicality of growth and receding, birth and death and rebirth is interwoven into the myths of Christianity, and it speaks not only of the outer cosmos of the sun and the length of the days, which indicates our position in relation to the sun and our movement around this heavenly body, but also speaks at an esoteric level of a deep inner truth of something that must come first. Like John the Baptist was the voice that cried in the desert, in a deserted place where no one could hear, no one understood. It was just arid, dry, of someone who was going to come, who was much greater than him. Now, the food we can take from these stories is, what does this represent inside us? What does this mean in terms of psychology, of spiritual growth? Spiritual growth isn't about well-being, really. Well-being is an indirect result of healing, but the spiritual growth that must take place through John the Baptist decreasing, the thing that comes first, the part of us that must come first, that must recognize that there is something higher, the possibility of something higher, that must start decrease and diminish so that something even greater can be born. And this Christ child grows inside the womb of Mary. So the womb is a central metaphor of Christianity. And this morning I was at the First Holy Communion of my little cousin, and I was looking at all the symbology in the church, and there is so much wisdom there, and there's so much cosmology there. It's just that we like to, a little bit in the West, keep it at arm's length and make it seem ridiculous and outmoded. But I just think it's important, as we enter this huge wave of awakening that's sweeping over the planet, that we hold on to the wisdom that's been accumulated over thousands and thousands of years in all the different religions. And in this respect, I've found the study of the esoteric core of all the religions a very useful help. I just wanted to share with you how what I experienced today on the 24th of June, and the insights that going to this church service gave me. And I hope it's of some value to recognize at least this very, very beautiful evening. Good night. Good night, Father Sun. Where is Mother Moon? I think she might have set already. She was rather large. She's moving towards full. Good night, sisters.